Hello and welcome to the video. In this video I'd like to share with you some thoughts on something I find fascinating. Now I find these kind of rocks really fascinating. We're sitting up here, nothing above us, so how did this come to be? This beautiful piece of rock, gradually pieces have been falling away and it's left it shaped like this. Such a weird shape to be sticking up above everything when everything else is so low and so flat. Well, that's direct evidence of the millions of years of erosion, because the top of the mountain used to be way up there, way above my head. It's gradually come down and down and down. This rock was buried once. This rock was probably buried by hundreds of meters, even more than 1,000 meters of dirt and other rock. And then gradually that's all worn down and it's washed through here. So if you look inside here, you can see this has all been washed smooth. Well, once upon a time, the ground level was up high and it gradually washed down and washed down. And how did it wash down? If you have a look, you can see all this gravel inside here. This gravel basically breaks away. It can break away either because it's a bit softer than all the rock around it, or it breaks away because of heat and cold. The rock gets cold and freezes, then it gets hot and then it cracks and the gravel comes away. The water washes it round and round and creates these hollow spaces, and then you're left with this really uniquely shaped rock. And have a look at that. And you can see how the bottom's been breaking away. These chunks here on the ground used to be on the side of that rock. They've broken away over time. More of them will break away over time. Eventually this might be a balancing rock with just a tiny little base. Now to me this looks a little bit like a claw, a hand in a claw shape. What does it look like to you? I'd love to hear what you think. Now if you have a look down inside that hole, you will be able to see a couple of egg-sized pebbles. Those egg-sized pebbles have been left there from a time when the river was much higher and was much more violent. So all of these rocks were probably covered with water, and she would have been very violent affair. And you can see how those two egg-sized stones in there, plus a few smaller ones, they've got trapped in a little hole and then they've gone round and round. They couldn't get out of the hole because they were too heavy, and just the way that the currents push things around, they've stayed there and gone round and round and they've dug out that hole. If you imagine that over millions of years, that's how some of these incredible rock formations have come to be formed, where you get all of these striations throughout this area here. The water digs little channels. You can see all these little holes here where there's been gravel. There's been little rocks inside them, churning. And you can see some water churning there. So down the bottom there could very well be some rocks going round and round, grinding. And they dig out holes like these. Those rocks get caught. And they dig and they dig and they dig. And eventually they dig out pools, they dig channels, they dig big holes right through here. Gradually, they form the valley that you can see. And that's the amazing power of watching erosion over thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of years. These granite rocks were once deep underground. Then they were pushed up, then covered again by volcanic activity, and now have been eroded and are exposed to the elements again. And I find this really fascinating. And I hope the video was interesting for you, and if you have anything to say, I'd appreciate if you'd leave me a comment below. Thanks a lot for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.